In this first video on conditional tests, we're going to look at the operators AND, OR, and XOR. These operators are very important in linking conditions together. AND will check if multiple conditions are all true. OR will check if at least one condition is true. And XOR will check if at least one condition is not true. Let's see how to use these in a program now. Here I have created a simple program with two variables, a and b. Let's look at these. A is an integer with a default value of 1, and b is an integer with a default value of 2. I've also created the Boolean variable test, which is going to be true if a equals 1 and b equals 2. Then I've entered return test here to display test on the chart. Let's look at that. We can see that our variable test is always equal to 1. That's because this is true, because a equals 1 and b equals 2. If the condition is false, this will return 0 instead. Let's have a look at that by modifying the values of a or b. We click here to modify the values of our variables. We can set a, for example, equal to 0. Then we'll close this and we see that our test is now equal to 0 because this condition is false. Let's now modify the program, and instead of using AND here, we will use OR instead. OR is going to look at if at least one of these conditions is true. Is a equal to 1 or is b equal to 2? And remember, in the properties here we've defined a equals 0, so this one will be false, but b equals 2, so this one will be true. We just click add indicator to chart here to modify the program, and we see that our test is now true. That's the difference between and OR. So I'm now going to update my comment here to match the code. True if a equals 1 or b equals 2. And we'll just put for memory down here the comments, and all conditions are true, or at least one condition is true, XOR at least one condition is false. Now let's modify the program to use XOR. So I'm just going to change OR to XOR here, and now this condition will be true if at least one of our conditions is false. So a equals 1, XOR b equals 2. We look here, at least one of these conditions is false. Since a equals 0, click add indicator to chart, and we see that our XOR returns true. So how would we get XOR to be false in this case? Remember, XOR means at least one condition is false. So if both conditions are true, the test with XOR will be false. Right now the test with XOR is true. Let's go back into the properties and change a back to 1. So now both of the conditions, a equals 1, XOR b equals 2, are true, and our test returns a value of 0 here because this is false. And since we've updated the program here, we're also going to update the comment. Boolean variable true if a equals 1, XOR b equals 2.